So we found the M&A process with Eli Global to be very straightforward, very simple. Originally, we were contacted by somebody at Eli Global, I believe as a result of us being in the Inc. 5000. It's not uncommon for us to be contacted in the past by companies looking to provide capital or acquisitions, and typically as a company in growth mode, we would pass on that opportunity. What seemed different about Eli Global was the promise to continue to be able to run the business autonomously. In a lot of ways, it seemed too good to be true. Here we are just over a year later, and all the promises that were made have been kept. I've never felt more like an entrepreneur than I feel now. We've been able to run the business, grow the business, fund additional acquisition opportunities that we would not have been able to do previously without some outside capital. And it really has worked out very well, not only for our company, but for our customers as well. One of the big differences in talking with Eli Global was the flexibility and the structure for how we put together the deal. So for example, we knew that we wanted to continue to run and grow the business and that over time the value would increase significantly. And we wanted the opportunity to be able to be a part of that, not just to sell the business and stay on as employees. And the structure that we were able to negotiate with Eli Global really made us feel like it was a win-win on both sides. It came with long-term contracts for us to feel secure in our continued employment and really significant opportunities to share in the upside as the business continued to grow profitably. It was clear from the beginning that Eli Global was very much a financial buyer and was not seeking to bring industry expertise to our company. And that felt good for us. We were not looking for a strategic buyer. We wanted to be able to continue to grow the business on the long-term plan that we had set for the company. So Eli's evaluation and our discussions around reaching evaluation and due diligence was very financially focused. And that was a very comfortable place to be because the numbers are the numbers and they're very easy to talk about and agree to. So like most entrepreneurs, we had a valuation in mind. We had a target that we wanted to reach. We stated what that target was up front. And the answer was, we can help you get to that target. It may not be today, but it could be over time. We were not presently in discussions with other bidders. We had previously spoken with some businesses in the industry and some private equity firms, and in neither case did those possible buyers seem to fit the culture that we were looking to continue to perpetuate over the long term. And so we really felt confident that we would be able to achieve that valuation that we wanted, even if it wasn't necessarily at close, but in the very near future. Early on in the discussions, I found it to be almost too good to be true, as I may have said previously, and so I asked if I could fly down to Durham and meet with some of the principals of Eli, and there was certainly no resistance to that. So two of my partners and myself flew down to Eli and met with the leaders of the business, and we said, this seems too good to be true, and we left there thinking, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. We should make this happen.
The whole M&A process that Practice Insight went through, I had a lot of strategics that were in contact with us over the years and found out about us. And when we were ready to go through the process of selling the company, I had a couple of partners that were ready to retire. We also had a minority investor, a PE firm that was a minority investor in Practice Insight, and they had run their course of, say, 5 years, and they were ready to get out of the process, sell the company as well. So we hired a banking company that came in, and we ran a process. And in that process, we sent out 180 so teasers to people that we thought would be interested in the market, and we received back, I believe, 96 responses from those teasers. And then we've got about 36 letters of interest. And we narrowed that down to 12 potential candidates for acquisition of Practice Insight. Now, Eli Global, I had known about Eli Global because one of our clients was an Eli Global portfolio company, MD Office, and I'd known Marty Pick, who had been contacting me probably 5 years ago about the possibility of acquiring Practice Insight. And I just told him at the time we weren't ready, but when we were ready, I know you guys, we're going to include you in the process. So we went through management presentations with those 12 potential clients, and we listened to them, and then we received letters of intent from those 12 companies and narrowed it down to 3. And Eli Global was the one that we chose, although it wasn't the highest bidder. But the reason we chose Eli Global was because we like the idea, being an entrepreneur, we like the idea of the buy and hold that Eli does. We knew that they didn't want to have, they weren't on a time frame to be able to, in 4 or 5 years, flip the company to another PE firm or to another strategic. And being the entrepreneur, I felt the responsibility of our long-term employees, and I wanted them to have a home and know that they would continue on with Practice Insight. And that was the story that was pitched to us from Eli, and it turns out to be a wonderful home that Practice Insight has found. Not only is it great with the buy and hold strategy that Eli has, being an autonomous company, running it, letting the owners of the original company stay there, letting the employees stay there and run the company as an autonomous company. That was very enticing to us as well. So we're excited about that, but also excited that Eli is into healthcare as big as they are. So it gives Practice Insight the ability to go out and bring more physicians onto our platform.
The way that we attract companies to come work within our family is due to the unique nature, I think, of Eli Global and all the unique characteristics of Eli Global, which we mirror and reflect in Global Bankers Insurance Group. And those are really the culture of Eli Global, which is very different than the culture of probably almost any company that is out in the world. And that really is reflective, I think, of the ownership, right? And the fact that it's owned by one individual who has a very long-term philosophy, a true long-term philosophy relative to other companies. And so, with my background coming from publicly traded companies, some of the larger publicly traded companies in financial services and also in insurance, there's often a lot of conflicts between different stakeholders, particularly in the insurance industry. You have public investors, right, where they're always clamoring for really short-term results. Every 3 months you have to do your report earnings, and so there's a real conflict between taking a long-term view and the need to satisfy short-term investor demands. And here we clearly don't have that because Eli Global has a very long-term view measured in decades, right? Not measured in quarters, not measured in 3-year plans, also not measured in 5 to 7 year investment horizons like a private equity firm. So when we go out and we talk to all of our stakeholders in the insurance industry, and they're rating agencies, regulators, and counterparties, maybe we're talking about reinsuring the business of an insurance company, or we're talking about actually acquiring an insurance company. And when we go and have those conversations, it really resonates that Eli Global really is truly different. It's not a publicly traded insurance company, meaning Global Bankers Insurance Group within Eli Global is not a publicly traded insurance company. It's not a private equity firm. We really have this multi-decade long-term focus, which is consistent with the very nature of the insurance business itself, right? So when the insurance company issues a policy, that policy can be in force for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And so when you have a strategy that is really truly multi-decade, that is so consistent and such a good fit with the actual liabilities and the policies that we issue, it really is a very powerful combination. And it resonates particularly with counterparties, with, again, companies that may want to come and join our family, and then also with regulators and rating agencies, because you can truly say there's true fit and alignment with the actual business itself.